Hello my Patreons, I'm so sorry it's taken so long to make this video, but I wanted to make sure that I was well and I knew what I was talking about and the brain fog had gone and I'm feeling better. So I asked you guys if you had any questions for me last month and I'm going to answer them all now in this video, and hopefully they can help you in some way, whether you're wanting to start a business, you have a business, you want to grow, or you're just looking to express yourself creatively. Ange has said, any tips to someone new to making greeting cards, printing yourself versus outsourcing? If I'm honest, I think especially if you're new, if you can, I would print them yourself. If you have the funds to be able to invest in a decent inkjet printer, one that can take 300 GSM card, do it yourself. I think it will save you so much money, because outsourcing greeting cards is not really budget friendly, I don't think. I know a lot of people do this, but personally I don't sell enough cards to be able to justify the prices when I can print them pretty decently at home myself. Don't get me wrong, I have outsourced my best-selling cards, so I have like 3 or 4 designs that I know sell continuously throughout the year. I have outsourced these to save myself from printing them over and over and over again, and that way that has saved me money. But if I'm gonna spend a lot of money getting cards made that I don't know are gonna sell, it doesn't really work out that well. And I think the price of a printer, a nice printer these days, is pretty good, especially if you only want it for A4 pieces. You can fit 2 cards to an A4. Yeah, so I recommend printing them yourself. And if you find that one of your designs is super popular, then order a bunch of those designs in. Paula Pause says, how do you keep your creativity alive? I've struggled lately with it. I want to draw and post my art online again, but I'm struggling to even find the right brush to use. I'd love some tips to get back into the groove of creating again. Your videos are so cozy. I love watching them every time you post. Thank you, Paula. I'm sorry that you're in a creative rut. It's hard. I recently was in it myself. And what I done recently was clear out an entire day in my schedule, made sure I had nothing to do that day, and then I had the entire day to feel free creatively and to do whatever I wanted, make whatever I wanted without the pressure of doing something for something. So all these ideas that I had in my head, I was able to get them down onto paper and onto the screen without any pressure. And I think when we pressure ourselves, that's when we feel creatively stuck, and it's the lack of pressure that helps us thrive. So if you can clear a day, put no pressure on yourself, even if you should clear an afternoon, I think you need to allow yourself some decent time to sit down, stare at the page, scroll on Pinterest, jot down some rough sketches and let it go from there. I hope that helps. Apart from that, I make sure to take regular breaks, and I always have my weekends off. Well, not always, because I just work the weekend. I take my time off very seriously, and when I have time off, I am off work. So that's another way to keep your creative juices flowing, is to allow yourself time to relax. Linda says, for someone new starting on the Etsy shop and figuring everything out, what would be your tips and advice from your current experience? Thank you in advance. Etsy is so different these days compared to when I started, but seeing my mother and father start their own Etsy shops in the last 6 or 7 months, I've noticed what helps them and what doesn't. And it's cliche and it's said all the time, and I know it's really annoying, but being consistent helps. And Etsy love quantity as well as quality, but they love quantity. Keep adding new things, keep tweaking your SEO, keep tweaking your titles, your descriptions, your keywords, and keep checking to see what's working and what's not. And I mean doing this every single day, not just once a week, I mean every day. Go on the forums, chat to other business owners on Etsy, get involved and get stuck in. That is what worked for me, and that's what's working for my parents. It goes without saying, having nice photography, a nice banner, a lovely logo, a filled out about section, a proper FAQ section to build trust with your customers. But other than that, it's all about putting your all into it and doing things on it every day. Tweaking, adjusting, add in things. The more things you have on Etsy, the more likely you are to be found, because it does work as a search engine as well. So if you only have 10 items or so on there, you're not very likely to get found, which sucks, unless you're driving in your own traffic. So that's the other side of things. Can you do things to market your shop? Can you post on Instagram more? Can you make more reels? Can you drive your own traffic to your Etsy shop? Just try all the things. That's what's worked for me. And when my parents do stuff like that, there's always a boost for them as well. Honestly, how are you? Have you been eating regularly and staying hydrated? When do you see the scoop being a possibility? I'm good. I'm feeling much better now, thank you. I've been eating well, staying hydrated. I got myself one of those Stanley dupes. I'm doing really well, thank you. The scoop, I don't know. I think I mentioned this on a previous podcast, maybe even a vlog, the scoop was like a concept that I made up whilst I was at uni, and it was gonna be like an ice cream parlor called The Scoop. And with the ice cream, you get it wrapped up in like newspaper that only shows positive news, because at the time I was going through a really horrible phase of being affected by everything going on in the world, and I was like, why is the news so depressing? Why is it so depressing? There's so many good things that happen out there and no one talks about it. And then a year later, Emily Cox had designed the Happy newspaper, so that problem was solved. It doesn't come with ice cream, but the problem has been solved, and I love that newspaper. So highly recommend if you're sensitive to the news like I am. Laura says, do you have any advice for a small business looking to grow? My Etsy shop has grown slow but steady over 2 years, but I want things to keep growing. If it has grown slow and steady over the last 2 years, you are doing something right. Honestly, slow and steady is the way to go. People think there's this get rich quick thing, and that just doesn't happen for the majority of people. And if it does, it usually spikes up and then it comes back down. Slow and steady is the best, because you have time to reflect on what is working for you and what's not. So take a look at what you've done over the last 2 years, write down what's gone well, what's not gone well, and look at the things that have gone well and think, can you do more of that? Did your marketing go really well? Why did it go well? Did you post more on Instagram? Did you create a newsletter? Did you run a specific sale? Just look into what went well and why, and see if you can do more of that, because that's only going to push you further up quicker if you can do more. I'm not saying work yourself to the ground though. I'm not saying that. I'm saying look at what you've done strategically, analyze it, drop the things that don't go well, and do more of the things that do go well without burning yourself out. Amy, how do you get all your ideas for posting content on social media and getting noticed on Instagram? I feel like I never have ideas. I am just a really nosy person when it comes to social media, and I love seeing people do their mundane day-to-day things, go into the supermarket, getting their groceries, doing some designs. Like, I love seeing the nitty-gritty, behind the scenes, mundane stuff. And I think that's what I tend to post as well. I love just showing you bits and pieces from what I'm doing, whether that's my manicure, anything, mochi. And maybe other people enjoy that as well. They love seeing the bits behind the scenes. And I love getting to know the person behind the business, just getting to know who they are as a person and knowing their personality. I don't know, I just love doing that. I love doing that on social media. I love seeing that from others. As for getting noticed, I don't think about it. I post what I want when I want, and I'm thinking this is a scrapbook for me to look back on when I'm older. And what is 60, 70-year-old Tasha gonna want to see and look back on? Like, what's she gonna want to see? Yeah, I don't think about the Instagram algorithm or anything like that. I just think about myself. Maybe selfish, but I recommend it. Sophia says, I have an Etsy shop since 2017, and since September last year I created my own website. I would like you to talk a little bit about how to increase traffic and visits to the website. I have already created a blog and will now create a YouTube channel. Yes, 2 of those things are great things for driving traffic to your website. I have a mailing list too. Amazing! I sell handmade creations like felt bags inspired by Disney World, but this year I would like to add products like stickers and such. It sounds like you're doing everything. You're taking steps in the right direction. That is exactly how you drive traffic to your own website without the help of Etsy or Not on the High Street or another search engine based selling platform. Like I said before, I think staying consistent, posting daily on social media, whether that's TikTok or Instagram, even Pinterest, they are the things that are going to get you found and get you seen. Sticking with it every single day is tough, and I know we don't always do this, like we all take days off, but if you can be consistent and post a lot, that's going to help you amazingly. Your mailing list, great. Can you think of like a sign-up offer or like a little freebie that people can get if they sign up to your mailing list? That way your mailing list will grow and your customer base will grow without relying on social media. Other than that, I think you're doing everything correctly. Just keep doing it, keep going, because everything you've said is like what I would suggest. And then Karen says, which item did you place a bulk order for first? And did you feel nervous if it will sell well? What did I place a bulk order for first? I think it might have been pins. I think it was pins. I think it was my look after yourself. No, it wasn't. It was my castle pin. I made a castle pin based very loosely on the Disney castle. It didn't sell well. I still have like 10 left. They've been on sale for a long time. My first pin, I learned a lot because I actually chose this pin to be soft enamel, and if you know pins, then you would know what this means. But if you don't, soft enamel is like, it's not soft, it's not bendy, it's still hard and metal. It's just the enamel is sunken in more and the grooves are more defined. And I liked this style back in the day when I first made my first pin. Little did I know that that was not actually the popular option or choices for pins. Everyone likes hard enamel. So that was my first mistake. Yeah, that was my first one. And I was scared that they weren't going to sell, and I mean they didn't, and I learned from that. I learned that I chose the wrong enamel type. I learned that the design wasn't very good. It just wasn't. So yeah, I know why it didn't sell, but how would I have known that if I didn't try and if I didn't do it? I would not know. I'd still be thinking, what if now? Probably. So if you're feeling nervous about your first bulk order, I do understand it is expensive, it is scary. I mean, they will sell. Mine is still selling. I only have like 10 left out of 100. It only took like 5 to 6 years. But yeah, it was scary, but I learned a lot from it. It can be seen as an investment, or it just can be seen as absolutely terrifying. But it's a learning experience nonetheless. And I think that concludes everyone's questions. Thank you so much for sending them in. I hope that I helped you. If you want me to expand on anything that I've said, please let me know in the comments and I will try to explain my very best. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for being here. It means so much to me, and I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you soon.